Hey everyone, welcome back to Those Fake Nerds. I'm your host, Brian. D&D has been in kind of a weird place the last couple of years. So obviously with the emergence of real plays and podcasts such as Dungeons and Daddies and Critical Role, it had become more popular than it ever had in the past. And as part of that, more players started to join. Hasbro saw this as a really great way to make even more money than they already make with D&D. So they kind of kicked everything into overdrive, and they want to try to figure out like what's the best way to monetize our player base. Obviously, before there were just like guides and adventures and books and all that, but they really like stepped it up a notch with one, the D&D movie, which I thought was fantastic. You can watch it on Netflix right now. It's really good. And then the whole controversy with like you're gonna have to go into playing D&D under a certain system that many players didn't like and felt like they're being forced to a lesser system. And then they also designed something that I thought could be kind of cool, which was a virtual tabletop. But apparently that is not going well either. So let's get to that article here from PC Gamer. Hasbro pushed out Sigil. Hasbro pushed Sigil out of the nest. D&D's latest layoffs happened because the distinct monetization path for its virtual tabletop Sigil never materialized. Hasbro treated Sigil like a video game instead of a VTT, and at no point cared to understand the difference. When he purchased through, had D&D's attempt at a virtual tabletop, a digital space where you could hypothetically play a bit of Dungeons and Dragons, has been hit with layoffs shortly after its release. This was per LinkedIn post by former senior writer Andy Collins earlier this week. Now, a report by Rascal News has emerged, has added more details, and it looks rather dire. Rascal News reveals an internal memo forwarded to the publication by an employee who chose to remain anonymous. However, Collins would later confirm to the publication that the memo is legitimate. It reads, quote, "After several months of alpha testing, we concluded that our aspirations for Sigil as a larger standalone game with a distinct monetization path will not be realized. As such, we cannot maintain a large development effort, and most of Sigil's team will be separated from the company this week. We are, however, proud of the Sigil team and what they developed and want to make sure that fans and players on D&D Beyond can use it. To that end, we will transition Sigil to a DDB feature that's, D&D Beyond, and will maintain a small team to sustain Sigil's release products already and developed at no additional cost to the users." So the memo adds, to these moving on as a result of the decision, we will provide robust support, including severance packages, 2024 bonus, career replacement services, and internal opportunities where possible. Rascal News then shares further revelations that the anonymous employee with Sigil of a confused and poorly communicated development cycle, one where corporate leadership was lacking, there was a distinct lack of interest from the word go, all with a rumbling undercurrent of Wizard of the Coast not knowing how to put a video game together, which, to be clear, Sigil was never going to be. That didn't stop Hasbro from thinking it was cut from the same cloth, though. Quote, "Hasbro treated Sigil like a video game instead of a virtual tabletop, and at no point cared to understand the difference. The company apparently expected Sigil to create revenue in similar fashion to Magic the Gathering or Baldur's Gate 3 simply by existing. When that proved to not be the case, the employee said Hasbro pushed Sigil out of the nest and were uninterested if it managed to fly before crashing to Earth. The employee described a meeting only a month ago where Collins asked leadership about the vision for Sigil going forward. No one was able to provide a clear answer." Then the writer adds, "Geez." So very interesting there. Shout out to Harvey Randall for writing this up for PC Gamer and allowing us to cover it here. But very unfortunate that Sigil has been disbanded in this way. I did think when I heard about it, like, this is very cool. And I think what it adds to is there is like a visual element in D&D Beyond with like very simplistic 2D maps. If you're going to do like a Let's Play series, that's probably what you'll use. But especially if you're playing online, which a lot of D&D games are, I thought like a 3D environment could be even better, even cooler for people who are watching these kind of things, but ultimately it didn't work out because Hasbro thought it was one thing, thought it was going to make money hand over fist one way. When they realized they didn't, they were like, what's the point of even having this at all? And ditched it, which is very disappointing for anyone who, like myself, looked forward to it and thought it could be very interesting addition to D&D's offerings. What do you think? Have you used the virtual tabletop here? Are there virtual tabletop alternatives that you prefer, that you think people should use instead of Sigil? Let me know in the comments. Let everyone know what you suggest there. And I guess, what'd you think of the D&D movie? So good, right? Really good. Really weird that it didn't do well at the box office, all things considered. But anyways, thank you so much for checking out this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.